Good morning, friends. Good to see you here and online. Often when we're planning a worship service, I'll choose a piece of music and Reverend Mary will say, "I've never heard that hymn before." And I've chose one of those today that I don't think we've ever heard before. And so I thought we'd do it as the morning song so we could learn it. And it's hymn number 125 in the gray hymnal, hymn number 125, "From the Crush of Wealth and Power." And it's truly a Unitarian hymn, words and music written by a Unitarian Universalist. And let me play the melody a couple times through, and you can start perusing the words, and then we'll try singing it together. I promise you it will become a favorite. Let's go ahead and give it a sing. From the Crush of Wealth and Power. If you're joining us online, you can find the lyrics posted in the chat. And you may approach the song however you want. Many of us stand when we're singing, but you can be wherever you want to be for singing. Ready, breathe.
Good morning, and welcome to Olympia UU congregation. Our community envisions an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. Thank you for joining us today. My name is James Trujillo, and I use he, him pronouns, and I am a member of the worship arts team. Leading worship with me today is our minister, Reverend Mary Geer, Troy Fisher, our music director, Reverend Sarah Lewis, the director of community and faith development. Here's a few things that you should know about our service today. We are streaming live on Zoom and on YouTube, and the service is being recorded. For those here in the sanctuary, you can see subtitles on the screen in front. We are a multi-generational community, and we value our young ones. Kids, babies, and teens are welcome in the sanctuary. We have fluffy chairs here in the front, so you can be almost as comfortable as those online, except there are no pajamas. There is nursery care and a storytime program for children in the classroom wing. We are grateful for the many hands that helped make worship happen this morning. Thank you to the ushers and greeters, the kitchen crew, and all who contribute in so very many ways. After the service, everyone will have the chance to discuss reflection questions offered by Reverend Mary. For those online, we invite you to go into a breakout room for a virtual coffee chat. For those in person, please feel free to stay for coffee and fellowship in the Commons. At 11:30, after the coffee chat, please return to the main room or sanctuary for time with the Board of Trustees. There are so many things happening at Olympia UU, from a variety of groups to Thursday community dinners and spiritual practice to study and action groups. Check out the Tuesday electronic update or the website for the most up-to-date information. Now let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. It is good to be together. This morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. Please join me as we light our chalices together with the words of Heather K. Januels. Our prophets died for the freedom of faith. We are here in their spirit. We are here to practice and sustain our living tradition, to light a chalice, claiming for justice. The heat and power of fire. In our free faith, we are here, seeking freedom from despair, the freedom to be loved as ourselves, and the freedom to grow beyond imagination. We are here, gathered in the name of all that we find holy. Let us give thanks for the gift of gathering here. Amen.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Mary Geer, and I use she, her pronouns. Our opening words this morning are offered by the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hand, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger, praise what is sacred, do the work of justice, or offer love. Any of these can draw down the prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor, obscure what is holy, comply with injustice, or withhold love. You must answer this question: what will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the intention to do good. It is an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, there is unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery that abide. There is an embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even yours. And while there is injustice, anesthetization, or evil, there moves a holy disturbance, a benevolent rage, a revolutionary love, protesting, urging, insisting that which is sacred will not be defiled. Those who bless the world live their life as a gesture of thanks for this beauty and this rage. The choice to bless the world can take you into solitude to search for the sources of power and grace, native wisdom, healing, and liberation. More, the choice will draw you into community. The endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the life of ritual and praise, the comfort of human friendship, the company of earth, the chorus of life welcoming you. None of us alone can save the world. Together, well, that is another possibility waiting. Come, let us worship together.
I invite you to join in singing together the opening hymn, hymn number 34, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire. If you're joining us online, the lyrics are found in the chat. Thank you for singing. Please be seated.
Good morning, all. The story that I have to share with you today is about Elijah. And there are many stories from Hebrew scripture and Jewish tradition about the prophet Elijah. This story is adapted from the first book of Kings. Elijah believed and worshiped one God. In a time when people were believing in other gods, particularly one that was popular called Baal. And Elijah, in order to be true to his God, challenged the followers of Baal to a competition, a contest to see whose God was most powerful. And Elijah won, except that it really made the queen angry. The queen, who at that time was named Jezebel, was very angry with Elijah, and so Elijah fled from her anger into the wilderness. And in the wilderness, he was resting underneath a juniper tree, and he didn't know what to do. He was just sad and frustrated and felt really alone. But as he was resting there, an angel came to him and said, "Wake up, Elijah, and eat and drink." And he woke up, and there was food and drink there. And then later the angel came back and said, "Wake up, Elijah, eat and drink again. You need your strength for the journey." And he did, and he had the strength to carry on, and he journeyed all the way to a mountain, Mount Horeb, where his God was said to be. And there he found a cave and went inside. And inside the cave, Elijah heard a question. "What are you doing here, Elijah?" And he answered, "I don't really know. I am tired. I am frustrated. I am trying to do what I think is right. I'm trying to be true to my God. I'm trying to honor them and show others that they are the one God. But people aren't listening, and people aren't keeping their covenant, and I'm scared of the queen's anger, and I just want to know that God is with me." God called Elijah out of the cave, and Elijah went out, hoping to see his God, to hear his God. And suddenly there was a great wind that came whipping around the mountain. It was a really powerful wind. It was knocking rocks down. But Elijah did not hear God in the wind. Then there was a mighty earthquake. It was really powerful. It shook everything. There was rumbling. It sounded like thunder. But Elijah did not hear God in the earthquake. And then there was a fire, a really powerful fire. It swept across everything. All the brush was burning. It was this powerful fire. But Elijah did not hear God in the fire. And then all was calm and still. And in the stillness, Elijah heard the still, small voice of God. Thus ends our story for today.
Each Sunday, we express our gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. The offering collected here does two things. It supports the ongoing work of Olympia UU, which is also supported by your regular pledges. This offering also supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. In November and December, we shared our plate with Olympia Books to Prisoners, and we raised $2,572.59. Thank you very much. And this all went to help this organization provide books to those who are incarcerated. Thank you again for your generosity. Our Share the Plate organization for January and February is the Community Kitchen. And here is a bit about their work.
And we would like to say, hi, my name is Turtle, and I'm the program supervisor for the Community Kitchen. And we would like to say thank you to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist congregation for being a part of the Community Kitchen. You're an amazing bunch of folks and a blessing to all of us and all those in need. Your contributions help the Community Kitchen produce more than 100,000 meals a year for our hungry neighbors, most of which live outdoors and are unsheltered. Due to the severity of poverty and vulnerability felt by communities, your gift has provided the purchase of a life-sustaining, nutrient-rich food that nourishes the young and old alike. Many members in your congregation volunteer to prepare and serve meals at the community kitchen, and because you're a part of the ongoing need, your resources has fed tens of thousands of people and produced millions of meals since its founding 2 decades ago. Our partnership can accomplish more together than each can do individually as we combine our strengths and resources to live out our call to serve. And with that said, we are deeply grateful for you and your partnership, and know that together we bring the good news and loving presence of God to the poor and most vulnerable among us. So thank you, and for all of your love, time, and support to feeding those in need and being a part of the community kitchen. Thank you.
You can participate in the offering by making a donation online through the church website or by texting the number that will appear on your screen. You can also mail a check to Olympia UU or place your offering in one of the baskets being passed by the ushers. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
Such I dream.
Thank you for your generous gifts of your treasure and your music. We came together this morning bringing all that is in our lives. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. You will hear a drumbeat as we share what is in our lives today. It brings into our awareness that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of our community. Right now, I invite you to take a deep breath in and out as we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and our communities today. Some of you will remember Bob and Carol Allen as longtime members of OUUC. The Allens left Olympia in 2020 to move to be near family. We received word from Carol that Bob died on December 22nd. Carol's message said, "There are no words sufficient to say how dear Bob was to me." We send our love and care to Carol and her family as they mourn this loss. Warren and Janet Dawes share that Janet had a bad fall on December 30th and broke bones in her lower back. She is now in rehab after a long hospital stay. I visited with her yesterday. Now, just the day before, on December 29th, Janet and Warren celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary. Yeah. So, today we offer congratulations to Warren and Janet for their long and happy marriage. And Janet, we send you our love and care with prayers for your healing. And last, our neighborhood elementary school, LP Brown, sends their gratitude and this lovely poster here in front of the pulpit for OUUC's collection of gift cards for families during the holidays. OUUC raised $2,350 in gift cards, and because of our generosity, the school received enough support for all families who were in need this holiday season. Thank you. You bet. Thank you so much for your generous support for our community. For those online, this is the time to share from your heart by entering in the chat. You can share joys and sorrows and everything in between that is shared from your heart. Those in the sanctuary will be able to see your sharing on the screen. And for those on site today, I invite you to come forward if there is something you would like to share, to bring into this community. You may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. It works best if you come up through the side aisle and return through the center aisle. So let's breathe as we hear the heartbeat of our community and reach out our hearts in love and care to all who share today. We place a stone in the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart. And one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. Please be in whatever way is comfortable for you for prayer and many meditation. Many people sit. This prayer is offered by the Reverend Barbara Hamilton Hallway. Let there be a quiet time among us. Spirit of life in us and around us, here is our chance once again to live like we wish the world would live. May we find within ourselves the courage to be who we are. May we know when it is time to listen and when it is time to speak. May we trust ourselves to be the ones to find the words that need to be said or to do what needs to be done. May we trust one another and know that there are many ways to go through life. May we know that though we cannot change some of what life gives to us, we can choose how we deal with what is given. We are coming into our power, and together we can make possible justice and love. We are all connected. We depend upon one another more than we know. We are one body. So be it. Blessed be. Amen. Let's be in silence a moment together.
Today's first reading is an excerpt from How We Show Up by Mia Birdsong. The American dream version of success can also damage our ability to relate to others. In an article from The Atlantic called Power Causes Brain Damage, John Useem cites the work of Dr. Keltner, a professor of psychology at UC Berkeley, who found that people in positions of power become less adept at seeing things from other people's point of view. And what is the American dream if it is not attaining power? Useem goes on to relay findings from McMaster University neuroscientist Sukhwinder Obi, who found that power impairs a specific neural process called mirroring that may be the cornerstone of empathy. The more successful we become, the harder it may be for us to connect with others, not only because we've developed the habits of toxic individualism in order to succeed, but because we have rewired our brain.
I get to preach after that. So last Christmas Eve, Pope Francis lamented that peace in this world is blocked by social forces such as, quote, attachment to power and money, pride, hypocrisy, falsehood. The Pope called out those ravenous for wealth and power who exploit the vulnerable in a world dominated by war, poverty, and consumerism. A difficult holiday message in a challenged world. These past few weeks in the United States, we've watched, well, it's been hard to ignore, we've watched some of our national elected officials engage in a power struggle, sorting out who has power and how much, who is willing to share power and who isn't, who is willing to concede power, and under what terms. It was dramatic. It was not pretty. You might know the quote from the 19th century British politician Lord Acton, "Absolute power corrupts absolutely," which means that a person's power increases. As a person's power increases, their moral compass is skewed and their moral sense of obligation to others diminishes. Today's reading from Mia Birdsong suggests that power corrupts us. It makes us less connected, less empathetic, more isolated. And so our spiritual theme for the month of January is power. The ideas I've mentioned so far reflect a common understanding in our culture that power is a negative thing, immoral, dangerous, harmful. Yet the American dream of success, more power, more stuff, well, just more, the myth of the American dream pushes us to view power as necessary to get ahead, to be successful, to attain the dream. What a paradox, a mixed message, and an impossible situation. No wonder we have a confused relationship with power that makes some of us want to deny that we have any power at all. And yet, author Alice Walker said, the most common way people give up their power is thinking that they don't have any. Last fall, we began an exploration that will go through June. For this congregational year, we crafted a statement to guide our focus and offerings for worship and religious education for all ages. The statement is, building beloved community with a focus on anti-racism and the practice of coming together again, in person, online, and in covenant. To repeat, building beloved community with a focus on anti-racism and the practice of coming together again in person, online, and in covenant. Our monthly spiritual themes for the year are to help us explore all parts of that statement. Last fall, we dove into the themes of welcome, covenant, and accountability. Coming up, our liberation, commitment, trust, and vision. I included power as a spiritual theme because we can't address building beloved community and the justice work of anti-racism without talking about power. In fact, we can't understand each other and how we are as humans without addressing power. Power is a part of every human relationship and interaction. Racism, oppression, marginalization are all about power. Neuroscientist Sukhvinder Obi, mentioned in our reading, says this: power is, quote, your ability to influence the states of other people. Sometimes that is qualified by influence through rewards and punishments or through the control of resources. You can add qualifiers to it, but fundamentally it's about your ability to influence the states of others, end quote. Obi views power at the individual level, the power one person has to influence another person. I would venture to say that's the view of power that most of us have, especially those of us raised in the individualism of American culture. How much power do I have to get what I want and need from others, whether it's safety, food and shelter, belonging, or love? I think there's also a larger view of power, the power of us together. This is the power of people who join together, work together for a common goal. Like this faith community joined together by vision and mission, those words that we say at the start of every Sunday morning worship service. The power of us together is essential for justice, equity, and transformation.
Our second reading is an excerpt from a speech given by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., titled, "Where Do We Go From Here?" delivered at the 11th Convention of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in Atlanta, Georgia, on August 16, 1967.
And one of the great problems of history is that the concepts of love and power have usually been contrasted as opposites, polar opposites. So that love is identified with a resignation of power and power with a denial of love. Now we got to get this thing right. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best. Power at its best is love, implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love.
On that hot August day in 1967, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood before his colleagues and gave his State of the Union. He spoke about the many successes for equal rights since the Southern Christian Leadership Conference had been formed 10 years before. He spoke of SCLC chapters forming across the South, in large cities and small towns. He told of a robust education effort to help Black citizens know and understand their rights and obligations as voters, along with voter registration drives. He spoke of housing development and tenant union organizing, boycotts and job development programs. He spoke of Chicago and Cleveland and Atlanta, as well as Grenada, Mississippi. And King spoke about the current state of the struggle for equality and the work yet to be done, saying, "We still have a long, long way to go before we reach the promised land." He outlined this as the first step for where we go from here. Quote, "First, we must massively assert our dignity and worth. We must stand up amid a system that still oppresses us and develop an unassailable and majestic sense of values. We must no longer be ashamed of being Black." An assertion of dignity and worth sounds a lot like the first Unitarian Universalist principle to me. King went on to say that the next step on this journey was to organize economic and political power. He said this, "Now the problem of transforming the ghetto, therefore, is a problem of power, a confrontation between the forces of power demanding change and the forces of power dedicated to the preservation of the status quo." In this speech, King offered a very simple definition of power. He said, "Power properly understood is nothing but the ability to achieve purpose. It is the strength required to bring about social, political, and economic change." He suggested that power itself is morally neutral. It's not good or evil. It's needed to get things done. And it is needed for positive change, to get justice done. King asserted in this speech that philosophers and religious scholars throughout the years have misunderstood power, pitting power and love as opposites. They've said that love is power resigned and power is love denied. That in order to love, we have to deny that power is present or even at play, an impossible thing, since power is in every human interaction, and that the use of power is always without love. King's radical suggestion that power and love are intertwined and and that both are required for justice. He says, love keeps power working for good, and power keeps love strong. We need both in order to create the world we dream about, the beloved community. King was powerful. All these years later, we can feel his power on a recorded message. And that's part of why he was so dangerous. He was a black man who refused to believe that he was powerless or that his community was powerless. He used his power to inspire a nation to racial justice, and he threatened the way things had been. He was a powerful man who used nonviolent strategies grounded in compassion in order to bring about social change. King embodied love and power both. Just like the still, small voice that spoke to Elijah, power doesn't need to be loud or forceful. Love and power united together are strong. Our Unitarian Universalist theology is based on interconnection. Because we are interconnected, we already have the power to influence each other. We can recognize that interconnection and use our power for good or not. We choose. For those of us with more power, our job is to share it and empower others. Author Toni Morrison said this, "I tell my students, when you get these jobs that you have been so brilliantly trained for, just remember that your real job is that if you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you have some power, then your job is to empower somebody else. This is not just a grab bag candy game." Morrison was speaking to her students at Howard University, primarily students of color, imploring them to not forget that they perhaps were once without as much power. For those of us who are white in this culture, we are born with power because of our skin color. Ours is a culture that favors white skin and certain ways of being. Those of us who are white Unitarian Universalists are called to use our power for justice. That may mean sharing our resources, sharing our gifts, our time, talent, and treasure, using our gifts to bless the world. It may mean using our influence to inspire change in ourselves and in others. It may mean stepping back to allow others to exercise their power as leaders. We are called to use our power to empower others. This weekend, as we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King, I hear his message through the years that power is a tool that everyone has some access to. Everyone has some power, some more than others, and tools can be used for good or for evil. Power can be used for oppression or for justice, for racism or for equity, for marginalization or for transformation. Dr. King invited us, implored us, inspired us to use our power for the common good. Those of us with privilege have the power to choose. We can honor Dr. King and his legacy and answer his call, or not. We can choose to build a beloved community, or not. We can build a new way, or not? How will we choose? Let's take a moment for silent reflection.
I invite you to join in singing the closing hymn out of the Till Hymn Book, hymn number 1017, Building a New Way. Join as you wish. Many stand.
If you are online and have a chalice or candle, please join me as we extinguish our chalice with these words from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. Yeah. May we move in peace as we work for justice.
Let's sing together our unison benediction.